Let's talk about where to look or point your gaze when you are fighting. The experienced fighters, I don't think they are looking anywhere, they're just looking generically. So it's this kind of a Musashi gaze. But in practice, it's a little bit difficult to keep. And especially if you're wearing a helmet, somehow it's more difficult. So what I find to be a good compromise is that you are looking at the weapon of the opponent, from the weapon hand to the tip. So the idea is to find out that where the weapon is, how the weapon is moving, where it's going next. Your opponent might do body fakes and this kind of whatever moves, but the important thing there is where the weapon is and where it's moving. So in order to avoid the common mistakes. So the common mistake number one is that if you are attacking, you pick a spot where you want to strike and then you go in and strike that spot, and you are so focused on that spot, you are looking at that spot where you want to hit, that you forget about the opponent's weapon completely. And then of course, if you don't hit, your opponent easily can hit you. So this is what happens to me. So when I get hit, I get excited. Now it's open, I'm gonna strike there, but I totally forget about the opponent's weapon. And this is quite enough if you are like fighting one weapon against one weapon. If your opponent has two weapons, it becomes a little bit more complicated. Then in that case, you will look at the primary weapon. So if I would be having two weapons, let's have this secondary weapon over here. So if I'm like this, you want to go outside to that direction or that one, so that I'm looking to you like this, so that there is basically one weapon. Your opponent has difficulty getting range from this weapon. So you want to kind of move so that your opponent looks like this. So then there is only one weapon to fight against. At least that's how I do it. Easier said than done, of course. So if they have a shield and if they can hit with the shield, same story, maneuver to one side so that you are against one weapon, basically only the shield or the sword. So it's more difficult then. But if they have one weapon like this, concentrate on that. So your focus has to be where the weapon is going. So what you are watching always is that if they are attacking, you will notice that immediately, maybe even before it goes. And if they are moving the sword back, you have good chances to rush in, cut them. If they are doing some funny stuff with the sword, you can go in. But if you are not watching their weapon, you might miss these opportunities. And anyway, you start to learn, like, see how they move their weapon. So if they're stationary, it's kind of easy, you're just watching one spot. But when they start moving, you start focusing where the weapon is going. And if you block it, but you don't necessarily attack straight away without keeping, your eyes on their weapon. Because it might be that you block it, you start the cut, but you notice that they are faster, so you have to block it again maybe, or move away. So what I recommend is keep your eyes on your opponent's weapon. Maybe later then you don't have to do it anymore. So when you're experienced, then you have this kind of wide gaze, the Musashi gaze. So you're kind of watching everything at once. You're kind of looking through your opponent, and then you can just without looking anywhere particularly, you can do what you do. But that comes later. But to start off, look at their weapon hand and the weapon. That's a good start. I'm still doing that myself. I'm not too good with that either. So it's quite okay. We are not Musashis yet. Maybe tomorrow. All right, look to the weapon. That's what I recommend.